Hi there. All right, so we got a little bit of a little setup here. I got a whiteboard here because I'm going to be talking about the two sides of everyone's personality that is very natural. And so you're going to figure out which one you probably have a stronger suit for, and then determine which other side of this you need to work on. So the reason I'm doing this is because it's a pattern. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and just draw it up here. It's kind of an infinity loop. These are two cycles that are running all the time, and you really should be going back and forth between both of them. So we're going to talk about that and how that actually impacts your business, your relationships, your finances, everything in your life, understanding these two patterns. Now, we talk about this at the 10-day momentum challenge. As a matter of fact, we cover these in two different subjects, one on day 2, the other one on day 10, so that you understand how to keep moving forward with everything you learn in a very short period of time that we do with 20-minute exercises. If you want to know more about that, you can just go to spencercombs.com. So let's talk about this. Every business and every person I ever talk to tends to be really good at one of these two areas. So those two areas specifically, I don't need to turn my back to you here. One of them is maintenance, keeping things together. This is the systemized side of the world. This is the part where we keep order, the chaos. This is where we make it into some order, right? However, this side is momentum. And momentum is the other side of this. This is where the chaos gets created, and yet we've got to have both. So if you think about this, and we tie all this together in the 10-day momentum challenge, let me show you a little bit about momentum. So today I'm going to spend time talking about momentum in this particular video because a lot of people ask, how do you create it? How do you get things going? How do you do all this? You find yourself sometimes in a rut, and you're concerned or worried or wondering, how do I get out of this rut, right? That reminds me of a story. So I had a Jeep Liberty, and I loved that thing. I thought it was cool because I had a Jeep. If you know the Jeep community, Jeep Liberties aren't really Jeeps. But anyway, I had a Jeep, and we had just moved into this house, and I parked it in the grass because of the way we needed to get in and out for all the moving. I put it in the grass area so that we could get in and out. And when I did that, it rained, and I didn't realize that my yard, all the water would go down that way, and it didn't soak the water up very well. So I had wet grass with a Jeep. So I go out to go get in it, and what do you think happened? Exactly what you think happened. I pushed the gas, and my wheels started spinning. I stopped because I've been in some dumb moves before. I can think specifically when I was 17 and messed up an entire Volkswagen bus because I had gotten it off of its trailer. It was a big mess. I realized that spinning my wheels wasn't going to get me out of the hole, but male ego kicked in. I had a Jeep, man. You should be able to get this thing out of here. Problem is, my Jeep wasn't 4-wheel drive. But in my head, it's a Jeep. It should be able to get out of this. So what do? I start doing what I did when we were younger. I started rocking it back and forth, right? Forward, reverse, trying to get it out of this little place it was stuck. And the more I did that, the more frustrated I got. And the more frustrated I got, the more the hole got worse. Took me a while. I did everything. I went out there with a board and tried to give it leverage, and it was a big mess. I had to call my friend Matthew, who he's got a truck, used to be my neighbor. Called him over there. He very, very kindly, without any shame on my part, came over, hooked up the two-tow hooks, and helped me pull out of that mud. So when you're wondering about your business or your life or whatever you got going on, if you're in a position where you just feel like everything's just going the same, then we probably need to get you into a momentum cycle to break it. Does that make sense? Now, if you're in a cycle where everything's in chaos, we should probably be talking about maintenance. That's a different conversation for a different day. But right now, if you feel like everything, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you know what you're supposed to be doing, we need to work on your momentum cycle. So the first thing I'm going to tell you, the first step in all of this, especially, think about this, real estate agents or any kind of sales environment, if you've got somebody who you know they need to buy your product, but they have no desire. They have no desire because they have no point of reference. Talked to a young real estate agent today. He said that he had a guy that he sold a house to that had been renting for 16 years. He was a trust fund person. and really had no reason, didn't know that he should be buying a house. So he educated him and implanted the desire. So then he moved on through the rest of this cycle, right? Because everything's fine. So why would we want to change it up? So if you want to move somebody forward, you've got to start with one place. And that one place to start is going to be dream. Dreaming. It's the reason why my wife and I go out of town and we sit down and discuss bigger picture. It's why every once in a while I will send her pictures of houses, big houses, houses we can't not even close to be able to afford, because it causes us to put us into the next phase of this cycle, which is desire. See, you can't really desire anything until you first dreamed it. The reason you're probably stuck is because you're not dreaming. You may want to put on your Disney hat for a minute and think out of the box. Just dream a little bit. We get that beat out of us when we're young. So dream. What would you really like? We call it a magic wand story. In our planning trip that we do every year in the fall, we do a magic wand story. That's, if your life was magic wand, what would it look like? That's where you start. So we start with the dream. The dream then creates a desire. The desire starts building up. And I know this because we drive down the road. One of the things my wife really wants is a Land Rover. She wants actually a Range Rover, to be specific. And we have a picture of one in our bathroom on a corkboard. The reason we have that is to build this cycle, to create the momentum necessary to drive us forward. So she sees one. Every time she sees one and she gets into her own car, there's this gap in her head that I really would like to have one of those, which then creates the next phase. Disturbed. Nothing happens until we get disturbed. So if you're feeling disturbed, it's because you have a dream, you know it's possible, you have the desire, I would like to, I should, or I wish. Those are kind of the statements we make when we're desiring. When we get disturbed, it's when we start going, now how does that even happen? Like, how do they do it? How could I ever do it? Right? But this is also the place that most people tend to stay. So just give you a warning. This is where a lot of people tend to stay. They constantly are in a state of disruption. And what they'll do is just go back to dreaming. Or they'll just go back to their maintenance. They'll maintain whatever level of life they have or whatever level of business. We're not going to be able to go after those kind of contracts. We're not going to be able to go after those types of clients. We're not going to be able to do that because it's just too disturbing and we're not going to be able to. Here's the thing, and we talk about it a lot more in depth in the 10-day challenge, but from disturbed to, I'm going to use the orange one, decision. From here to here is a process called threshold. So if you've been through the Momentum Challenge, you know what we talk about with threshold. It's when your emotions become so intense, 3 factors line up, and bam, you're now ready to make a move, and you make a decision. There's no turning back. It's going to happen. And until you get to that stage, you're never going to get out of this constant state of disturbance. We go from decision, we then go to determination. And once you understand what this is a new fuel, by the way. We talk about fuel in the challenge. You can go to spencercombs.com. It'll tell you more there. When you get into the right kind of fuel, it then fuels into the maintenance. And that's basically planning, execution, and feedback. We go into a lot more depth with it at the challenge. I'm just telling you, though, if you're looking to create momentum, you got to go through the cycle. You got to go through the cycle. And once you get through this cycle, you can ramp up just about any part of your life. If you're in a bad relationship, or you've been in one and you'd like to be in a new one, or maybe your relationship is just stalled out and you're in just maintenance mode, you want to do something about it, what would your relationship look like if you were just dream a little bit? What would your relationship, what are the desires then that you would like to see happen in your relationship? Is it enough to disturb you into action? And then are you going to be able to get enough threshold to make a decision, do something about it, and then get determined to make it happen? Now we create a new reality in our maintenance or our routines, habits, that kind of thing. So I trust this helps. I could go on and on. I love this kind of stuff because I see change in people's lives every day. We talk about this stuff. Many times I'm not even sharing exactly what we're doing, but this is what we're doing. I'm showing you the back panel conversation of how we do this. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you. we'll talk about maintenance on a different video, but today, just want to talk about momentum. Momentum Challenge is coming up, so go to spencercombs.com, check it out, and it might be something you'd be interested in getting into. It's a powerful way to really go through the cycle and create a new reality for yourself, and you're only 10 days away. So, all right, I'm going to walk around this camera. Let me know if you need anything. We'll talk later.